Hey guys, welcome back. The last devlog of Project Blind didn't bring much to the table in terms of progress, but this week is fortunately packed with interesting updates. So let's get right into it and start with the smaller things. After claiming my victory over these doors in the last devlog, I thought I was done. I mean, you stand over here, pull a lever, push a big red button and open a door. What more do you need? What about closing? Right. So I fixed that, and shortly after I found a bug where our collider hates its parents. Therefore won't disable when it should, and you could grab it, which led to unwanted results. Then, while staring at this blue void, I wondered why there's a hole in my space station, and why when I'm on Mars, there is no Mars. The Mars part is pretty easy to fix. We just download a 360 image of a Martian surface and create a skybox. Let me just borrow this. Oh, those giant holes. As an astronaut, we obviously need to put our space stuff somewhere. So, cupboards and toilet are exactly the things we want here. I didn't exactly check these models before in VR, and we have a little problem. Literally. Look, I'm not a short person, maybe a little above average. That said, I feel really short right now. I'll have to bring all of this down so player could interact with everything, but not now, because I have a feeling there will be even more changes to this model in the next few weeks. So I continued with implementing hinges, drawers, and stuff like that. I know this is really entertaining to watch, but let's continue with another simple feature I added. I need manuals, books, notebooks, literally anything that can be opened and has text in it. So I created a model and open animation. Wrote a script that starts an animation on trigger button press, and that was it. Interactable book that works in every level. While we're here, in a museum level, I might as well show you something that every VR game needs. Destructible objects. Implementation was pretty easy. Model, prefab, few lines of code, trigger, and little bit of testing. After this little successful detour, I was ready to work on something bigger, something powerful, something dangerous. When exploring this level, the player might find unscrewing covers, doors or handles simply too exhausting. So I wanted to give him something like a handheld laser cutter to speed up the process. It was a good idea, but I realized it could do much more than evaporate screws. It has a potential to be used in some kind of puzzle. That's why I thought about it, and after a quick brainstorming, I had nothing. I think this idea still needs a little bit of work, because I don't want to add stupid mechanics to my game. So I started to work on a hull damage detector instead. You remember those big holes at the beginning, right? Yes. These are of course pretty life-threatening, but small holes are dangerous too. Unfortunately, not every hole is visible right away. That's why we need a detector to detect leaks in our station. Allow me to explain. This ugly thing is our detector. This cube will represent a single air leak. My goal is to make this detector gun calculate distance to the nearest leak when in range. Distance is then presented to the player as a beep sound, changing its pitch with set distance. So when the player gets closer, beeping will get louder, faster and have a higher pitch. After doing some advanced math homework, I understood how to get a value for pitch, and it was time to code this thing. As you might expect, it didn't work, because I forgot to make a sound. Now, what this sound should look like? Well, we need a clip to have a silent part at the beginning and a silent part at the end. In the middle we'll see the short high-pitched tone, which we will modify with an audio source in Unity. Unity is by changing the pitch on a clip, affecting the clip's length as well. This means pauses between looping clips will get shorter with a higher pitch, thus beeps will be faster and more high-pitched the closer we get to a leak. Now that everything else was ready, it was the right time to jump into Blender and start to think about what this detector could look like. For some reason my brain was still stuck on the image of a laser cutter gun from earlier, and this is probably why I ended up with this little piece of work. There are certainly elements I don't want to change when I eventually be remodeling it in the future, but for example this ugly handle must go for sure. Okay, look, it's a first draft, so it doesn't matter. I won't texture it anyway, so it can be ugly. I couldn't help myself. This was done in an hour and it sure looks like it. Of course it looks a lot better than just having a grey model in a scene. What bothers me is that not every detail is visible inside the headset. For example, you can see these lines. And this is one of the details I want a player to see. Right at the beginning of a level, it's telling him in a very subtle way, hey, maybe there's a 3D printer somewhere around here. And that is actually true. Later in a level, you will find a 3D printer and it's possible to use it. What I'm saying is, I'll have to really focus on highlighting certain details the right way in the future. Alright, let's put everything together and decide if we have succeeded in making a functional atmosphere leak detector. And the answer is yes and no. Yes, you can detect a leak and patch it up with some kind of built-in glue gun. No, it's a little buggy when the hole exits a trigger of a detector at the wrong moment, and it's really annoying to hear this sound every time it does. Plus, at the beginning, I decided to work on a screw melting laser gun, and this is what I've created instead. Useless gun, a melee weapon at best, but it's pretty useful life-saving tool. And I call that a win. But that will be all for today. If you like this devlog, maybe check out the previous one, where I struggled to open a door.